Okay, I'm ready to go live. Woo! What's the alternative? Okay. All right, so what do we got up here in the chat? We've got Dina from West Virginia. And yes, happy birthday, Sir Paul. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Anyone there? Yeah, I think we're here. Hi, Sandy. Good to see you. Hi, Barbara. Well, Stephanie, what a grandma. Good to have you here. Happy Father's Day to you too. Thank you. I am a father. It is true. All right. And Ellie, hello. Peggy, good to see you. So many folks that I know from our weekday Sangha. We have a meditation group that we've been getting together since March 17th, 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic. And so we call ourselves the COVIDian Sangha. If you're interested in becoming a member of that, it's not really a membership. You just show up. You don't have to really do anything. But you do have to have a Zoom link. And to get that Zoom link, you can write me here at this email address. And I'm happy to bring you here. Hello, Zanne. Good to have you here. And but I'm here today, sponsored by the Mindful Living Collective, also known as the Center for Mindful Living. Elisha Goldstein founded this some time ago, and I said, Elisha, I said, what can I do to help? And he immediately said, lead a meditation on the third Sunday of every month. I said, fine, I'm there. So I've been doing this for a long time and really enjoying it. And if you are moved to donate to the Center for Mindful Living, the Mindful Living Collective, I have put the PayPal donation button link into the chat, and feel free to do that if you are so moved. Of course, it's voluntary, not um mandatory. All right, so some folks are showing up. That's very good. Hello, Joel. Good to see you as well. DJ Joel is here, or J Rock, as we call him fondly. Hang on one second. Mm, My favorite coffee mug right here. All right, so yes, today is the birthday of Sir Paul, actually Sir James Paul McCartney. Did you know his first name is not Paul? It's actually James. Yes, and he was born on this date, 18 June 1942 in Liverpool. He's a Scouser, one of those guys, right? Okay. So, and also, this is the birthday of Rachel Welder. I don't know if Rachel is here or not, but she is one of the stalwart members of our Sangha as well. So, happy birthday to Rachel if you are present. Anyway, Sir Paul. Okay. So, I would not be sitting here right now in this chair, looking into this camera, talking to you if it were not for James Paul McCartney. If he had not been born, I would not be sitting here. And the reason I say that is because thanks to his being born, growing up, losing his mother, Mary, at an early age from cancer, and then not too long afterwards making the acquaintance or reacquaintance of another lad from Liverpool, John Lennon, John Winston Lennon, and his mother had died not too long before that. So the two had this in common, but they also had something even more special in common. They had music, and they knew they had a chemistry almost right off, even though it was a kind of rivalry. It was still an important chemistry. And of course, they formed the Quarrymen, which was the school they went to, the Quarry Bank. I don't know, elementary school or whatever they call it there. And so they were the Quarrymen, and various members came and went. And then they met this fellow named George Harrison, and George Harrison played raunchy for them on a bus one day. They said, "Oh, play raunchy," and he could play raunchy. And they went, "Okay, get in the group." And so he joined the group. George Harrison joined the group. Now, at the time, their drummer was named Pete Best. He wasn't the best drummer, I don't think, unfortunately, but there was another one waiting in the wings, and that, of course, was Richard Starkey, also known as Ringo Starr. And Ringo was there with his drums, and he said, "Oh, I think I'll play drums with you." And they said, "Come on, Ringo, join the group." And he joined the group, and they became, of course, the Rolling Stones. Oh, I'm sorry, no, they became the Beatles. And they came together from all these different areas of Liverpool, and they got to know each other, and they played together, and they became the Beatles because of causes and conditions, because there were interdependent experiences going on in their lives, and that's what brought them together. Now, why is it because I owe Paul and all those guys my seat here? Well, it's because George pushed them into some Eastern stuff in the late 60s, and it became transcendental meditation that they got involved with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. They went over to Bangor, to India, and they studied with him over there. And that's when I found out about TM. That's when I found out about meditation. So I thought, I've got to do this. The Beatles are doing it. I've got to do this too. So I became a meditator. And this was like 1967, 68, something like that. Although I was just doing it, kind of on my own. And then I was eventually taught formally in 1973. But that's more than 50 years ago now. So that is why I'm here. All of these interdependently co-arising causes and conditions came here to bring me here. And now, I don't know if you remember or not, and probably if you're younger, you don't, but right around the time Paul decided to put an end to the Beatles, there was a rumor that he had died. Do you remember the Paul is dead rumors, Paul's been slain in a bloody car crash. I don't know if you played something backwards, it would say that. And um, then, so what I'm going to say next is sort of weird. There is no Paul McCartney. Now, there is no Paul McCartney. There are causes and conditions that came together to create the being that we label Paul McCartney. But it's all just causes and conditions, still moving, still alive. And as long as those causes and conditions persist, there will be what we call a Paul McCartney. There is no Roger. That is just a label that we put on this being. There are only causes and conditions that came together. My parents had to meet, their parents had to meet, and on it goes into history. But if one of those things had been missing, if Paul and John had not been walking in that one vacant lot that day when they ran into each other, there may have been no Beatles. And if there had been no Beatles, I would not be sitting here. So in your life, notice the miraculous experience of causes and conditions. All of these multitude, these countless things that had to come together to bring you here right now. It really is the miracle of life, I believe, that we're even here. I mean, if you look at the cosmos, it's the same thing. How did the dust form that made this planet? And how did it become the third one from the sun in that Goldilocks zone? And so forth and so on. It is pretty interesting when we start deepening into that. So in our practice today, we'll deepen into it. But I want to start with a rather famous quote from a teacher from the Huang Dynasty, Zen practitioner, Zen teacher, early Zen. Before I had studied Zen for 30 years, I saw mountains as mountains and rivers as rivers. When I arrived at a more intimate knowledge, I came to the point where I saw that mountains are not mountains, rivers are not rivers. But now that I have got its very substance, I am at rest. For it's just that I see mountains once again as mountains and rivers once again as rivers. So when we first come to the Dharma, we see mountains. We don't think about that's just a label for the causes and conditions that created that we label a mountain. And then we deepen into the Dharma, maybe for 30 years, as this teacher did. And then we realize, wait a minute, that's not a mountain. That's a collection of many millions, billions of years of causes and conditions. And we call it a mountain. So now it's not a mountain anymore. And then we rest in that for a while, and then it really doesn't matter. Oh, there's a mountain. So first there's a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is a mountain. Okay, so that's a little bit of a tangent off of Paul McCartney's birthday, but I hope that you enjoyed that, and I hope it was interesting for you. Let's meditate on it now, shall we? Make yourself comfortable, at ease. We'll be done at 30 minutes past the hour. So we'll come to rest in whatever position is best for us. And this could have something to do with causes and conditions as well. Perhaps there is an injury or something that precludes you from sitting in the way you normally do. So you have to honor that. And as we begin, perhaps the eyes close or they remain open, gazing downward, softly focused. And feel free, of course, to open or close the eyes whenever you need to, or to move the body whenever it needs to be moved. And then perhaps contemplating, even for just a few moments, some of the causes and conditions, the interdependent co-arising of these causes and conditions that brought you to this cushion, to this chair, bed, sofa, whatever it might be. And not simply today, throughout your history. Contemplating perhaps your prehistory, before the causes and conditions came together to create the being we call you. In some ways, our lives are like messages in a bottle cast into the ocean. Somehow that message came into being. Somehow it was placed in the water at a certain point. Somehow the currents carried that to perhaps a shore where it was discovered maybe many, many years later by someone who was there because of causes and conditions, someone whose life was created because of causes and conditions. And they found that message. What are the odds of that? This is how miraculous our lives are. The mercies of the currents that take us through our lives, where we meet people, where we experience things, where we have a history. And right now we can feel the causes and conditions moving through us. They're actually very discernible. You can, if you're still, you can sometimes feel the vibration or the pulsation of energy in you, and the countless cells that make up this being, this body. And each cell intelligent, doing its work. And the causes and conditions continue. This breath is a miraculous experience because you came into being. This breath is being breathed only because you came into being. Is this breath being breathed? And when you feel a breath, or when you feel the vibrations or pulsations of the body, you are connecting to the reality of the present moment. The causes and conditions that brought you to this moment were real when they happened. They are unreal now. They are memories and exist only in the reality of the mind as a thought. So this moment is the only reality. This breath, this sensation. And what I've been discussing this morning may cause a lot of thoughts, memories, ruminations, reveries of one kind or another. And this is okay. We're not here to try to stop the mind from thinking. These thoughts can bring with them insight, enlightenment. We can note them almost as though we were writing them in a journal and then let them go. The thoughts are real only as thoughts, and then we can come back to the physical reality, the sensory reality of now, of this moment, feeling the body breathing or sitting, feeling the pulsations or vibrations, hearing the sounds of this moment. These are the reality. Until, of course, we get taken away by thoughts again, and then we just make that another opportunity to reconnect with the reality of now. The miracle of this moment. The mercies of the currents that brought me to you, you to me. And so we'll continue contemplating, practicing, enjoying the reality of this moment together in silence. And as we approach the conclusion of our practice, if you have been taken away, that's okay, because it's just an opportunity to come back. It's an opportunity to awaken and return. And of course, taking all the time you need to transition from this practice. There's no rush. You can stretch, you can have a sip of something. This cup, by the way, is a great example of interdependently co-arising causes and conditions. It contains earth, the substance that's made the cup. It contains air and fire in the kiln and the air to do that. It contains the wood of the fire, perhaps, whatever it might be, the water that allows it to be shaped. And there were the skilled hands of some artisan who created this. And if you take one of those away, you wouldn't have this cup. Just like if you took one thing away from you, it wouldn't be you. One little tiny thing. So as you go through your day and you see a mountain or you see a tree or a flower, whatever it might be, notice how the mind labels it: mountain, flower, tree, and then stop for a moment and go, yes, that's a label. What is this actually? And it's actually a collection of many and varied and uh, infinite causes and conditions that created this thing we call a tree or a flower or a mountain. And for a moment, it won't be a tree, a flower, or a mountain. And then you just go about your life and you just, oh, there's a tree, there's a flower, there's a mountain. It doesn't matter. Hey, if you can stick around, please do. If you have to leave, go ahead. Perfectly okay. If you have any questions or any comments you might have, but I've got my little ukulele here, and maybe I'll play you something here in a minute. What we got here? Lupe, saw you just yesterday at Pete's Coffee. Um, totally need this. Consciously acknowledge that all that went before me creates me today. Yes, thank you. And you need this. Why do we need this? Is it because of the the ease that we experience in practice, or is it that we can begin to look at life a little differently? Hello, Donna Stein and Donna Winkler. Good to have you here. And Clive and Dougie the dog. I've got a little hangnail here. Oh dear, this is terrible. I have to use my other fingers. Well, we'll try at least. Here, of course, this song would be apropos, I believe. Hang on one sec. Let me make sure my mic is in the right place. I hope you can hear the ukulele okay. It doesn't sound weird. Let's try this. Ooh. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain. Oh, Juanita, oh, Juanita, oh, Juanita, I call your name. Oh, the snow will be a blinding sight to see as it lies on yonder hillside. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. All right. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. So there's a little earworm for you to carry through your day. There is a mountain, Donovan, 1967 gold on $1 Million Weekend. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I will be back on the third Sunday of July. I'll be back. And gosh, that's right around my birthday. Love the song. Going to be an earworm all day long. Yes, it will. Absolutely. So go forth. Enjoy your day. You are, you aren't, but you actually are. Okay. And happy birthday again, Sir James, Paul, and happy birthday, Rachel. And we'll be seeing you soon, I hope. Been forever. Been forever since you heard that song. As Bob Dylan once wrote, forever is a long, long time. Yeah, it was a big one. It was a big one. Bye, Zane. See you. Thank you. Good to see you. All right, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to end the broadcast. No, seriously. Don't make me end this broadcast. Happy Father's Day. Thank you, Margot. Margot Newman. Oh my gosh. Now you I haven't seen in forever. All right. We'll see you soon.